I want to talk about one more thing. So we talked about, and I'm very excited to check out this book, The Patient Will See You Now, because it's exactly about this obviously massive power dynamic shift that I think has to happen in healthcare in order for outcomes to really change. But the other piece of this too is just ownership of your own health. And it seems like we're going through a massive, generational shift. I would almost think about it as I look to the doctor as the person who's in charge of my health to no, I'm in charge of my health. And it's my, you just look now at all the wearables, all the amount of supplements, all the amount of kind of biohacking, even just look at stuff like Eat Sleep and an Oura Ring and an Apple Watch. You already have much more data around your health that's not resided in, held private inside your HIPAA files that all your healthcare providers have, and so you manage it. One of the things that I wanted to talk about, just go a little bit deeper on is, and I brought this up to you when we were talking about this interview is, so I started digging into obviously Ezra. And one of the things that honestly shocked me a little bit was you sharing on social your experience of going into Ezra and getting a body scan and literally having this massive backlash of basically doctors coming and saying, oh, this is terrible. And the commentary that they had around it was, this is an expensive machine, almost like you and no one else should be allowed to use this expensive machine unless the doctor says so, around control. The other one was, it's prohibitively expensive. Obviously, what you're trying to do down is drive down the cost. And so it's only this good that's only some people can have. And the second one was around, these incidental findings. But I thought it was just staggering the amount of backlash where they weren't acknowledging any of the positives and were just completely focused on the negative. What was that experience like for you? And is that something you come up a time and time again with just doctors in the medical establishment?
Yes, so it's a great point, and I have it's a great question. When I started Ezra, I used to come across that in 4 out of 5 doctors that I spoke with. A year and a half, 2 years in, it was like three out of five. Now I want to say it's maybe 2 out of 5, maybe even 1 out of 5 doctors that we speak with have like significant kind of allergic reaction to it. And I think what it is doctors want to be on the cautious side for good reason. It's kind of like they are there to first do no harm, the Hippocratic Oath. And their concern is legitimate in that, hey, if I'm going to do this scan and biopsy a shit ton of people, this is a net, negative thing for society, which is true. But the thing that they didn't appreciate is actually you find a bunch of stuff, you don't need to biopsy any of it, and then you just follow up with a diagnostic scan or track the thing over time and see how it evolves. And only after a positive diagnostic scan do you then go and biopsy people. And a lot of doctors that work with Ezra have seen that now over the 2-3 years that we've been live, and have become not from kind of being reluctant to getting a scan, they've become proactive about sending people in. And I actually have a very specific example, won't name, but we have a doctor who was skeptical, who then we did this research project and he decided he's going to try it out himself and scan his family. And we found a brain tumor in his, I want to say, 17-year-old daughter. And it turned out to be a significant thing. She had it removed and she's now perfectly fine. And he became, you can imagine, like a big proponent of it, because like the probability of his daughter having a brain tumor at that age was just like, any doctor would have said, oh, probability is so small, you don't need to do a scan. And so we've seen doctors embracing it more. And I think, as with any new technology, it's going to take time for the early adopters and then the early majority, late majority, and so on to adopt it. And I'm playing the long game and definitely working on publishing data and working on, partnering with doctors and working on showing that this thing helps people find cancer early and survive.
I want to talk about that particular, kind of example, because one of the, in my mind, one of the things coming into this interview that I don't even know where I got this idea was that, okay, so if we are changing from this world where MRIs are reactive and now it's proactive and it's something that you want to do, Well, I think about myself again. I'm 36, and I'm like, okay, it probably makes sense at my age. But that's a fascinating example where you have a 17-year-old who I don't know if anyone would have said, oh yeah, we should get people as young as 17 to go inside an MRI and go and get scanned. So I guess one of the questions is just
And we only scan adults, by the way. Like that was a research project. It just happened, but which was like it was fortunate for that.
an
Yeah,
incredible outcome in
incredible.
that
Yeah,
case.
yeah.